it's Jana Eubank. I'm here with a process video, and today I'm going to be working on a Halloween layout using the American Crafts BOOtiful Night collection. And I'm going to be working with this 6x6 paper pad. I've pulled out a few of my favorites in the front, whoops, that I think I want to use. But here's just a quick flip through of all the cute patterns. I love the hand-drawn artwork in this collection. And the accents, the stickers, and the die cuts have this awesome holographic foil added to them, which is really fun. I love that sketchy stripe, that painty stripe. It's so cute. So I wanted to, oh, I love that one too. I may be using that one too. I love those doodly circles. And those little cats, my goodness. I love those splotchy circles. So many cute papers. So here's a peek at the stickers that come with this collection. Hopefully you're not getting too big of a glare, but see that awesome holographic foil? Love that. That's just so fun and so different. I haven't seen any collection with that on that, so that will be fun to play with. And then I have some other things that I'm going to incorporate, hopefully. Here's the cute puffy stickers. And then here is the thickers that goes with this. It's called Monster. And then I also have some other elements. I've got these spiderweb doilies to play with, these leaf die cuts, lacy doilies, which are super fun, and some badges and buttons. So I'm not sure how much of this I will incorporate, but let's get started and see. The 3 photos I'm working with today are of my daughter and her friend over at my parents' house. Last Halloween. They get a gajillion trick-or-treaters, so they went over there to kind of help them answer the door and pass out candy. After I cut down these photos, they were kind of a large, a medium, and a small size, and I actually really liked the way that they were stepping down from one another, so I decided to use that as the base of my design. Here I'm just flipping through the BOOtiful Night die cuts and pulling out things that I thought would be fun. I chose a couple of haunted houses because they did visit a haunted house in the neighborhood that night, and then a little piece of candy because they were handing out candy. I thought the All Hallows Eve would make a cute title, just kind of nestled there underneath the middle photo. And then the speech bubble, the way the little tail is poking out, it looks like my daughter saying trick or treat at the door, so I thought that was really fun. The bat just looks really cute, flying off of the speech bubble at the top, and everything just kind of came together really quickly. I also pulled in some of these spiderweb doilies, and I decided to use a visual triangle and place 3 of them on the page behind the photos. And then of course I had to add in that spider die cut because I wanted him to crawl around on those spider webs. I'm flipping through the die cuts again because I had spotted that moon but didn't pull it out the first time and wanted to add that to the top along with the bat. So I really like the way that this page is going, so I sand at the edges of my photos and get them matted on some black cardstock so I can start adhering things down to the page. Initially I was going to overlap them, but I did end up putting a space in between each photo, and I like the way that it looks. So I'm looking at the margins on the left and right sides to make sure that they're equal. And so I adhere those photos first, and then I adhere the middle photo. And I'm kind of looking at where the photos are stepping down and making sure that it looks good. And then I'm getting the spiderweb doilies tucked behind each photo. Now I know that some people, it would bother them that the spiderweb doilies are peeking through the gutters in between the photos, but I actually like that. I think it contributes to connecting the photos together, and it works. So I don't fuss over it too much. The All Hallows Eve, I decided to pop up with some foam squares, and then I tuck that little spider there to the right of it. I get the speech bubble down, and I do leave a little bit of space below it because I'm thinking I will add some stickers, some phrase stickers to overlapping onto that 3rd photo when I get down to the finishing details. So I put the bat on with some foam squares and the moon on with some foam squares as well. And then anytime I have a moon, of course I'd like to add stars to go with it. That's just a fun little sprinkling accent. So I chose to use these ones from the sticker sheet. I like the holographic foil that they have on it. And it just looks really cute with that bat. I chose an orange one and then the silver holographic foil. So at this point, initially I thought I was going to put some pattern paper layers behind the photos, but there was so much detail going on with the spiderweb doilies and the die cuts already that I really didn't feel like I needed it. So I decided to just add some bands of color with the 6x6 paper pads at the top. And the way I chose that was I wanted to pick a pattern that, because there was going to be a seam in the middle of the strips, I chose some patterns where that seam wouldn't be very visible. And initially I put the polka dots there, and then I thought, well, it might be cute actually to do like a quilt type effect and put 3 different patterns up there. So I'm just flipping through. I chose that blue skull pattern, the sketchy dots on the orange, and then this candy corn white pattern. And I put those up there. And then I'm thinking I'm going to put some of this black and white diagonal stripe as a kind of a finishing border underneath those. So I add a little bit to the bottom, and then I do a skinnier strip to go beneath the patterns at the top. And I look at that and I decide, you know what, those patterns are too crazy and wild. So I move the thicker stripe from the bottom to the top, and I'm like, oh, I like that much better. But I wanted them a little thicker. So I cut those a little thicker. I left the skinny ones down at the bottom, and I decided to run with it and just adhere them to the page. Even though there's a seam in between those 2 pieces, I don't think it's very noticeable because of the nature of the pattern. The pattern's very random, it's very sketchy, and so it works. The 2 strips I cut at the top were exactly level, so I decided to add cut out some of these orange stripes from this striped pattern paper and do that along the seam to just kind of meld everything together. And then I cut out some skinnier orange stripes from that same little pattern paper to place on top of the stripes at the bottom. I love the pop of orange that adds, and it just gives it some definition. The next thing I decide to work on is to add some dimensional details to the page. So I pull out the Halloween buttons and Halloween flare, and I just kind of, mess with them and place a few around the page and see what I want to do. Then I noticed, oh yeah, I forgot to add some stickers, some phrase stickers below the speech bubble. So I go to choose a couple of those out. And I decide to go with this holographic one that says trick or treat, because my daughter was saying trick or treat at the door. And then just picking another one, this smaller black one that says boo, that will fit in the space next to my daughter's face. So I wanted a bit of orange. I've got orange at the top with the star and the stripes, and the orange and the title and the pumpkin below the photos. So I wanted a little bit of orange over in this corner. So I chose one of the orange wood buttons, and I peeled off the glue dot that was on the button so I could add some white twine to the holes of the buttons. I don't like to leave my buttons naked without anything in the holes, so I did that. And then I just put the glue dot back on the back and stuck it into place. And then, of course, if you got a button on one side of the page, you got to sprinkle them in other areas, right? So I'm just trying out a few, and I decide I also want one up at the top, so I have a visual triangle of buttons. So I add, I didn't like the button by itself at the top, so I add this Happy Halloween holographic phrase sticker from the sticker sheet. And then I do the same thing. I peel off the glue dot, add some white twine. On this one, I tie it in a bow. Usually when I'm doing buttons, I'll do one with a bow, and then the other ones I just leave in a knot, just personal preference. Sometimes I do 2 bows, but only if they're far apart from each other. So the one at the top has a bow, and then the black button, enamel button next to it, and then the other 2 that I put on the page just have regular knots. I love how some of these buttons have the shiny enamel sticker over the center, and I think it just adds a bit of sparkle to the page. Buttons are so fun to use in fall and Halloween because it just reminds me of quilts and scarecrow eyes, you know, just the accents that you see on some of that. So I didn't like the way that the left side of the haunted house was pulling up to go over that button, so I placed it on foam squares to bring it up to the same level as the wood button. And then I do the same thing with the pumpkin, and then tuck the right side underneath the title. So I'm just checking my margins on the left and right to make sure things look okay. The embellishments are about the same width or space apart from the edge of the paper, and I just like to check that. I first wrote my journaling in pencil on the journaling block, and now I'm just finishing up with some pen. And then that's it. That's this page. I'll erase the lines underneath that and give you a closer look at some of the details. And then there will be some still shots. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, my name is Jana Eubank. Today I played with the American Crafts BOOtiful Night collection, and I hope you like seeing this page come together. We'll see you again soon.